Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. To finish off our series on the lore for the Imperator candidates, we've got Mira Ngo. Please make sure you vote in the Imperator elections as well. You have until the 24th of October. You'll get a little badge. Your choice may very well influence the direction that Star Citizen's lore goes in going forward with whoever wins as the Imperator. But please sit back, relax, get a, cup of tea or a cup of coffee or some brandy or something, and listen to the dulcet tones of Zinnia as she narrates this beautiful lore piece.
As promised, joining us today is Imperator candidate Mira Ngo, who's a transitionalist senator from Terra. Born into a political dynasty, her grandmother and father both represented Terra in the Senate before her. Ngo spent a significant chunk of her childhood on Earth when her father was a senator, and when he retired, Terran voters elected her to his seat. Ever since, she's distinguished herself as a skillful legislator, deft politician, and torchbearer for modernising the Empire in Terra's image. While her campaign may not focus on the economy as much as Titus Costigan or Paul Lassalle, candidate Ngo's cornerstone campaign promise to move the UEE capital from Earth to Terra could arguably have the most significant effect on it. Senator Ngo has been gracious with her time and agreed to join us for the entirety of today's show. Each segment will focus on a different topic to give us the chance to get specific. Senator, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Happy to be here.
It's been an interesting few weeks for your campaign as you've enjoyed quite a surge in a number of polls around the Empire.
Yes, I'd like to think that voters are responding to how I plan to actualise my promises and rejecting the cryptic and stale proposals presented by the other candidates.
It's quite the coalition you're building, up nearly 10 points over last month.
Got to credit my team for helping provide context and clarity to my initiatives. It's vital that voters know exactly where I stand and understand how I plan to accomplish my objectives. It also helps to come on shows like this so more people get a chance to hear the specifics.
Your message has inspired many, including critics who've labelled you as a single-issue candidate intent on altering the Empire's balance of power, which brings us to tonight's first topic and the cornerstone of your campaign, moving the UEE capital from Earth to Terra. The Government Modernisation Act of 2793 was the Senate's first attempt to move the capital to Terra. It famously failed by just 3 votes. Subsequent legislative attempts, including one that you drafted in 2942, have garnered less support.
The bill in 42 did better than anyone expected. The positive response not only inspired me to run for Imperator, but make the issue the centre of my campaign.
Considering the current war with the Vanduul, rising crime rates, and synthworld construction, which you pledged to continue fully funding, why is this the best use of the Empire's resources?
It's a historic opportunity for the Empire, a chance to reshape ourselves and inspire future generations to do the same. Evolution is as essential for empires as it is for nature. You must shape the sands of time or the sands shape you.
You've released a lengthy policy paper explaining exactly how you tackle such an undertaking. It's quite detailed, but seems to avoid specifying an overall cost projection.
The proposal acknowledges that such a massive and important project would be done in conjunction with not only the Senate, but with the involvement of local governments. We've done our best to present several options on how to handle various aspects of the move and provide budget estimates for each, but with so many variables that could affect the cost, like whether the move takes 3 or 5 years, it felt misleading to settle on one number.
Why not provide a potential range?
In situations like this, the concern was that people would lock on to the highest number, so the sense of scale gets lost.
Well, one thing's for certain, it's an incredibly expensive proposition, but one you argue will be economically beneficial.
Building new government facilities in Terra will create a significant number of jobs and be a boon for haulers delivering resources or transporting vital equipment from Earth. But the economic benefits aren't confined to Terra. Moving the capital from Earth also allows us to institute new measures to preserve our homeworld. Many of the planet's historic buildings would be converted into museums to protect and display priceless artifacts and teach future generations about our origins and subsequent expansion into the stars.
That's a wonderful idea, but let's take a step back and address the most pressing concern that I hear from those opposing your plan. From both a political and economic perspective, this move would have incredible benefits for Terra and severe drawbacks for Earth.
Look, this is a comprehensive plan to modernise the government for the benefit of the entire Empire. It's not about hurting one system to benefit another. That explanation only frames the debate about pitting Earth versus Terra in a way that makes voters feel like they have to choose a side. That's not the goal here. The decision is about what type of empire we want to leave for future generations.
And the modernisation you propose needs to happen in Terra? Can't it be accomplished on Earth?
Some, but not all.
What specifically can't be done on Earth?
Well, an important aspect I haven't touched on yet is the symbolism of moving the capital. The move signals to both our alien allies, and I'd argue more importantly to ourselves, that we can honour and preserve our past, but still move on from it.
And why is moving on from Earth such an important message to send?
Because it acknowledges how far this empire has come. Earth is and always will be the most important planet in the UEE. We must preserve it at all costs, and this proposal helps us to do just that. We must also admit that this empire has expanded into intriguing new horizons. Humanity's new home is the wider universe, and no other location better embraces that exciting evolution than Terra.
I'd like to ask you about the story that broke a few days ago. It started last October when your house in Terra was robbed during Citizen Day.
Yes, it happened when I was announcing my candidacy for Imperator. It was a scary situation for my entire family, one that I hoped would be behind us.
My sympathies for all that you and your family have had to deal with.
Thank you. I wish my opponents and their operatives extend my family the same courtesy.
Today, the New United published an investigation into some financial records that were anonymously sent to them. They revealed that over the last year you've invested heavily in Terra-based construction concerns.
As I've said, since being elected to the Senate, I've used a blind trust to keep my financial and political affairs separate.
The story notes that, but records also indicate that your spouse conned your financial advisor on or in the days before several of these transactions.
In the days before? What does that cover? 3 or 4 days? 10?
I don't believe they specified.
So if Jahari spoke with our advisor any time in the week before one of these transactions, it could potentially fall into that category?
Don't know what criteria they used, but I am still interested in your response.
There's nothing to respond to because there's nothing there outside the fact that clearly the robbery of my family home was actually an attempt to steal private information to use as political ammunition. Any chance the article can tell me what other businesses I'm invested in?
Believe it only focused on the construction concerns, but I have to say, considering all that you and your family have been through recently, it's good to see that you can maintain a sense of humour about it.
Running for Imperator isn't for the thin-skinned, that's for sure.
We need to take a quick commercial break. When we return, candidate Noah and I will shift our conversation onto the safety and security of the Empire. We'll discuss her proposed criminal justice reforms and strategy for handling the Vandal War.
Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway. For October 2020, it is for a Mercury Star Runner. This highly anticipated multi-role ship is going to be great for small to medium-sized crews that want to do a bit of everything, whether that be cargo running, data running, missions, combat, smuggling, all that sort of jazz. And it's going to be in-game and flyable very soon. All you've got to do to be in for a chance of winning one is comment on any of my videos made during October, including this one. More details down below. What am I shilling for today, I hear you ask? Do you hate it when people steal all of your money and your house over the internet? I know I do. NordVPN may have been invented by wizards to help protect your personal data from the prying eyes of the dark web, a sinister cabal of technomancers that grow in power the more they know about your browsing habits. The true story of NordVPN's origins are unknown and lost to the ages, and without using facts, no one really knows how it provides more accessibility to otherwise censored websites or a safer security experience for all that use it. All I know is that it does, and that when you sign up to it, the power level of my bank account grows, and I use it, and maybe you should too.